Hey guys, hello, welcome. A quick video here that I wanted to do because obviously I have nothing better to do. At least that's what a lot of people think because they keep talking to me or sending me messages about this incident that happened in Belton. So, what I have done is today, throughout my for the free time that I had today, um, have been doing a lot of research on what happened in Belton, mainly because this is my backyard. Hey, what's up? Proud of your freedom. Authority check. Hey, what's up, Sergeant buddy? Dallas Citizen Watch and Jason Green. Hello, everybody. Um, so, if you haven't heard, there were two arrests in Belton, I think 2 days ago, and they were auditors, First Amendment auditors. And so, and I've also heard things that I just couldn't believe. And I'll tell you, anybody that knows me, you're getting static from the mic? Really? I never have static on my mic. I wonder what's going on here. Are we good now? Lots of static. Hang on, what's going on here? All right, let's see if that's a little bit better. Is that a little better? Let's see if that's a little better before I move on. Is that a little better? Anybody? Not good. How's that? Let me check all my connections here. Okay. How's that? A little bit better? Anybody? Y'all getting it? No? Is this bad? Let me start over if it's bad. Okay, got it. Good. All right. Yeah, so two guys were arrested. They are First Amendment auditors out in Belton. And as you know, Belton's my backyard. My I have kids that go to college there in Belton. I go Belton quite often. And I will say, when I first heard about what was going on, I was kind of flabbergasted because um, I have a really good relationship with the Belton Police Department, and I don't have a good relationship with many police departments, as you may may believe, or you may already know, is I don't have that great relationship with them. But um, if there is a police department that I would say is like that I really have no complaints on, it would be Belton Police Department. They are what I would call a gold star police department. So I wanted to make sure that everything was as I'm hearing, and make sure that all the information that's getting out there is correct. And I can tell you that I'm not, I'm willing to. There are some areas here I don't agree with. I'm actually going to speak with the chief about that. I'll hope he can correct and remove. But there are a lot of areas here that at least one of the activists arrested did completely wrong. Now here's the thing, okay? And you can say this is I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth or not. But if you're going to be engaged in activist type activities, there are things that you have to understand. And when I first became an activist back in 2013, I admit I didn't understand uh, these kinds of things. And what I'm talking about is how you present yourself. Okay. You can be forthright and aggressive and get your point across and not do it coming out as a total dick. Um, and what I hope every activist learns, and this is something that I've learned throughout my 8 years now of activism is that everything you do, especially if it's recorded, which everything we are doing should be recorded, has the potential for getting in front of a jury. And so when you're out there and you're exercising your right to record the police or to exercise your Second Amendment rights to walk down the road with a firearm, you need to understand that if it comes to the point where you end up in jail, and it comes to the point that you end up charged, and then it comes to the point that you end up in front of a jury, that video of your actions is going to be played in front of that jury. And the one thing I can tell you about juries that is 100% fact is that you can be 100% right and the cops can be 100% wrong. But if you come across as a dick and all you are is using profane language and screaming and yelling at the cop and making a complete ass out of yourself, guess what? The jury is probably going to look unfavorably to you, and you're probably going to get I don't know why my screen is my screen going dark for y'all too? You're probably going to get an adverse opinion from the jury. Now, just because you lose at the trial court because a jury doesn't like you doesn't mean that it probably will or will not be at the appellate level. I don't know why my camera keeps turning off. Yeah, let me do something here. But it looks like my camera keeps turning off. This is so frustrating living in a rural place where there's only one internet. I don't know what to do. Here, let me close this and maybe that'll help. Switch to OnlyFans. There you go. All right. Hopefully I just turned off everything else that I think is connected to Wi-Fi, and hopefully that fixes it. But long story short is you've got to be aware when you're holding police accountable how your actions are going to be perceived by a jury. Okay? Is it good? I mean, do I like that? No, I don't. I don't think that because it's not against the law to be a prick. It's not against the law to use profanity. Okay? Pissing off the police is not a formal charge, but yet that's what they get you on. And so is it fair? No, it's not fair. And that's why I think many of these cases you'll be overturned if you're convicted at a higher level, because that's where the rule of law is applied, not the rule of, well, we just don't like him. So with that said, I wanted to put out some facts here. One of the things that I heard was that the city of Belton has issued a letter to these two individuals. So the two individuals I'm talking about are, they go by Foulmouth Veteran and Bully Back Audits, I think is his name. Bully Back Audits and Foulmouth Veteran here on YouTube. And one of the things that I heard, although I'm not sure where this is coming from, this may be just one of those word of mouth things, is that the city issued, or the police department issued a letter telling them that if they continued to record, they were going to get arrested under 3815. I have here both letters from the city of Belton to both individuals. Okay, they're pretty much they're written identical. So I only need to read one of them. I already looked; every word is the exact same. The only difference is that they're drafted, they're certified letters to each of the individuals. The auditors got arrested, I think 2 days ago, Turbo Warp, and the arrest itself is not on live. A warrant was issued, and they were arrested on a warrant. But what I want to do is I want to make sure y'all understand First, that the city of Belton has not threatened auditors that if you film the police, you're going to be arrested. Okay. And I don't know where that's coming from. And honestly, I don't know if that's what I have spoken to Foulmouth Veteran. That's not what he explained to me. I know that, what's his name? Bullyback Audits is still in jail. He's on a $108,000 bond. And I'm gonna talk a little bit about that in a minute, okay? But I want to read this letter to you, okay? Because I want you to know that the city of Belton has not told these individuals or anyone else that if you record the police, that you're going to be arrested under 3815, which is interference. As any of y'all know, that's what I was eventually convicted of in Temple way back when I got arrested hiking with my son, and that was the charge that they settled on because, to be quite frank with you, it's one of the easiest charges to get convicted of in Texas because of the way the law is worded, and that's something I hope to fix. All right, so here's the letter, and I'm not going to read their actual names, although this stuff is public record. But I don't know if they put out their real names or not, so I'm just going to read the letter that went out to these guys. I'm writing to express concern about practices you and an associate have recently used to record Belton police officers and recommend a change that would allow you to exercise your lawful right to record police activity and also assure that officers can perform their duties unimpeded. Now, I want to tell you this too. I know Chief Ellis, and this letter is from Chief Ellis. I've known Chief Ellis for years, and I have a great relationship with Chief Ellis for two reasons. One, he knows that I'm objective, and two, he knows that I'm not afraid to hold them accountable. Okay, but thankfully, I haven't really had to hold Belton Police Department accountable because I think Belton Police Department is led by one of the best chiefs in the state. And I'm sure some people probably have different ideas about that based on personal experiences, and that's fine. But I think that look, here's an example. A lot of the chiefs association, the police chiefs association here in Texas, is actively fighting against constitutional carry and a bunch of these other bills that we're trying to get passed in the legislature this year. And Chief Ellis was called and asked to participate in a local like press conference opposing these bills, these pro-gun bills, and Chief Ellis refused. Back when Open Carry Texas was first stood up, we tried to have a float in the July 4th parade, and we were allowed to have a float in the July 4th parade, but we were not allowed to have firearms, even if they were unloaded and even if they were chamber blocked. It didn't matter. We were not allowed to have firearms whatsoever in the parade. And when the chief found out about this, he offered up the front lawn there, which is near the end of the parade route. So it's right there along the parade route towards the end, and allowed us to set up a booth and a tent. We always put up a tent there, and we have water and a bunch of handouts, and just try to make people aware of our gun rights. And we carry our rifles, we carry our pistols, and he allows us to use that lawn right there and set up everything, a big table and everything. So, hey, James, I'm talking about, this wasn't Belton. That was in Temple when they aggravated kidnapped me. That's Belton. I've never been arrested in. I've never been. Now, there was a problem way back in the early days of Open Carry with Belton, and it was fixed like that. Okay, the chief fixed it. So there is one video out there of some people being harassed for Open Carry back in like 2014, I think it was. It might have been 2013. And I'm telling you, the chief fixed it right away. All right, let me get back to this letter. On several recent occasions, you have interfered with officers as they performed official police business. Your actions have forced officers to divide their attention between you and those with whom they interact. The interference includes inserting yourself in active police scenes engaging citizens involved in police activity, walking in close proximity around the patrol car and other involved vehicles, being in the roadway, and shining bright lights from your cameras into the eyes of officers. All right, I'm going to address each of these I'm going to read the whole letter and I'm going to come back and address each of these individually. These actions violate the privacy of individuals interacting with police and interrupt, disrupt, and impede officers from performing their duty. It sets a dangerous precedent if allowed to continue. To ensure the safety of all involved, protect your right to record, and allow officers to work unimpeded, I invite you to record from a safer location, i.e., a sidewalk across the street or at a distance. Officers will identify themselves to you upon request, but only after they have completed the action they are involved in. In other words, hey, look, the Belton Police has a policy that officers will identify themselves, but you know what? If they're handling a stop, like a traffic stop or any kind of stop, they're not going to stop what they're doing to handle your identification request. And honestly, they shouldn't have to do that. So wait until they're done and then ask them for their identification. Okay, that let them do their job. The idea is supposed to be to record and document, not to get involved. If you choose to disregard this recommendation, you'll be subject to arrest on a misdemeanor charge of interference with public duties. The Belton Police Department is committed to a community-centered approach to police work. We accept the public standard of transparency and accountability. As we respect your right to record police activity, we ask for similar courtesy from you to respect our right to perform our job duties unimpeded. And that's the letter. All right. What does that mean? Here's the issue. And this is based on my conversations with various people involved in this issue, is that, I'm just going to say it. Okay. I don't care if I piss people off. All right. I support, everybody knows I support you guys recording the police. Absolutely. I record police when I see stuff coming down. It's not very often because usually I'm on my way somewhere and I don't have time to stop. Otherwise, I'm at home because I don't like being out in public. I hate it. But please record the police. Keep recording the police. But there's a difference between recording the police and getting involved in what's happening. Now, there's also nothing wrong with, for example, if if you hear the police ask about, hey, do you mind if I search your vehicle? And the guy says, yes, you shouting out there, hey, you don't have to let them search your vehicle. That's fine. But when you're engaging in conversation with the people who are stopped, you are now interfering with, and I know it says words only, but you're interfering with that stop now, because the individual who is interacting with the police department is now interacting with you instead. But it's okay to shout out stuff like, you don't have to allow a search. You don't have to. You don't have to give your name if you're not being suspected of a crime or under arrest. Okay. Now, obviously, in traffic stops, generally that doesn't apply. But don't get involved. Don't become a part of the traffic stop. Okay. If you see something that's obviously illegal, unconstitutional, it's unsafe, yes, go ahead and get involved and say something. But otherwise, you're there to document. That's my impression of what First Amendment auditors are there to do. They're there to document and protect the rights of the individuals with whom the police are coming in contact. When you actively get involved in distracting people, that is where I think you start to go a little bit over the line. The second thing is when well, let's go back to each of these. Inserting yourself in active police scenes. That's kind of what I'm talking about. Supposedly, and I don't know because I haven't seen all of the videos yet. Okay. But from what I'm told is one or both. And I know from speaking to at least one of these guys that at least one of them, possibly, because I haven't spoken to the other and I haven't seen the video, was not just recording from a distance, but was actually walking between the police vehicle and the vehicle that was stopped. Okay. And come on, guys, use your brains. All right. Use your brains. And if that's the case, that could actually meet the elements of interference under 3815, because now you're physically impeding the officer. Because when an officer is engaged in a traffic stop, if he's back at his vehicle he needs to be able to see the passengers. And if you're walking between the vehicles, you're now impeding that view of the passengers, and you don't know what he doesn't know what those passengers are doing. And if the officer is with the vehicle and you're between the police vehicle and the officer, now you're impeding his view of his cruiser to make sure that his cruiser doesn't get in any way compromised. Engaging citizens involved in police activity. This was the second thing that he identified as interference. And this is what I was just talking about as far as it's okay. I'm just trying to help you guys legally, okay? I'm trying to help y'all stay out of trouble and understand that your actions have consequences. And you can be 100% right, and the officer can be 100% wrong. But if the jury perceives you as the problem, you're the one that's probably going to go to jail or have to pay a fine. And then you're going to have to spend even more money if you want to appeal it. And like I said, I think likely most of these cases will be overturned on appeal, but who can afford that? And how many people really want to pay for idiots who are getting themselves arrested because they were morons and getting themselves convicted because they were profane and out of control? Walking in close proximity around a patrol car and other involved vehicles. I've already said that. You know, the Supreme Court, I think, has issued a 10-foot rule. Okay. And that's pretty fair. I know a lot of police officers are trying to push that back even further. There was even a bill that was trying to push that back even further this legislative session, but that was defeated. Thankfully, it's been removed. But just use your brains about this kind of stuff, okay? It's one thing to record, but you don't have to be a pain in everyone's ass by getting all up in. Let the officer do their job, okay? And that's at least no closer than 10 feet, I think, is what the Supreme Court has said. The next one is being in the roadway. Look, if I can give one piece of advice to every activist out there, it's that when you are engaged in activism, it is your duty to make sure that literally every single thing you do is lawful. Everything. How do I know that? Because, and the reason I have a Class B misdemeanor conviction on my record is, and I wasn't even involved in activism, I was going on a walk with my son, is because I happened to be walking down the wrong side of the road. In Texas, if there's not a sidewalk, you're supposed to walk down there, and you have to walk in the road. You walk on the side of oncoming traffic. Okay, I know that now. So you won't see me crossing a road where there's a red light. If there's a red light, because I'm not going to give a police officer any reason to stop and ID me. And if you don't give them any reason to stop and ID you, you're good to go. But being in the roadway, if you're a pedestrian in the roadway, especially if there's a sidewalk, you're now committing a crime, and you're giving an officer reasonable suspicion that you're committing a crime. Now, if he says, okay, you're in the roadway, as petty as that might be, it doesn't matter. You've broken the law. Okay. We don't have to agree with the law, but that's what the law is. And if there is a law, no matter how crappy it is, that gives an officer reasonable suspicion or even probable cause that you're committing a crime, and that changes the entire dynamic. And now you're in trouble. So, being in the roadway is one. Next, shining bright lights from your cameras in the eyes of officers. Here's where I sort of disagree with this. Now, if the officers, I'm fully, when officers come up to you, especially at night, if they're sticking a flashlight in your face, I know initially they want to kind of look at your face, right? They don't have to shine it directly in your eye. But if a police officer is constantly shining a flashlight in your eyes for no other reason than to just harass you, by all means, I'm all for you shining a flashlight back in their eyes. But if an officer is engaged with another citizen, or he's writing his report, or he's doing something else, and he's not shining a flashlight in your face, keep your lights out of their faces. Okay, just as much as you don't like it and you wouldn't appreciate it, they also don't like it and they don't appreciate it. Okay, and now you're actively impeding them, because they have their eyes, especially at night, will have to adjust to the darkness and the light in order to write their report or engage in the person that they're trying to engage with. Okay, and officers need to be aware of the scene and be able to identify things in the scene. And they can't do that if you're constantly shining a light in their face. So there are times when that's okay. And in my opinion, this is just my opinion. I'm an idiot. I'm nobody, but this is just my opinion. These are the things that I've learned both through my well, actually, I guess 2009 is when I first became, so I guess 12 years of activism, um, as well as, um, the things that I've read and learned throughout my 2 years of law school. All right. So the bottom line is the city of Belton Police Department did not threaten these guys or any other auditors that if they filmed the police, they were going to be arrested under 3815. That is not what this letter says in any way, shape, or form. That's not what these letters say. It says that if you impede or and I've explained each of those and how that can happen. Okay, then you can be under the elements of Penal Code 3815 be charged with this crime. And let me tell you, I can tell you from experience, literally, the way the code is written, if a police officer comes up to you and says, drop your drawers, bend over, and apply this KY jelly to your anus, and you say, the hell I am, boom, you can get charged with interference. It doesn't matter that it's legal or not legal, that the orders are legal or not legal. That's just the way that the code is written. It is that bad. Of course, that's one of the things I really want to fix in the legislature. But that's just the reality. That's what it is. And so try to stay away from 3815 because it's one of the easiest and most nebulous laws on the books that they can default to arrest you on things. All right, let me go here and get some of the questions here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the top and then scroll down. Hey, Danny Bettis, good to see you too, man. Sounds like okay. Let's get past all the popping. Okay, all good now. Clear now. No static. I've moved to Temple recently. Want to meet up for lunch? Hey, SATX always carry. I am not in Texas. I won't be back in Texas until June. But yeah, let's do something when I get back. There are very few activists. Well, I appreciate that. See, here's the thing. When you're doing activism, whether it's filming cops or just out there doing your Second Amendment thing or whatever it is, if you're protesting police abuse, you must always keep in the back of your mind, how is what I'm doing going to be perceived by a jury if I were to get arrested for what I'm doing? When the police are engaging with you, and this is something that I had to learn the hard way. I mean, you all know in my early days, I was pretty loud and profane to the police officers. Okay, I get that, but I also learned when my video was played in front of a jury, watching the jury's reactions to me calling a police officer a sorry excuse for a police officer. That wasn't even like that bad, but yet I saw how the jury reacted to that, and it could very well be that me calling them names and all of that is probably what eventually resulted in my conviction for a bogus crime. Of course, I think they realized I didn't really do anything wrong, which is why I only got a fine and no jail time. All right, let's see what else here. Yeah, proud of your freedom. I'm gonna have to do that OnlyFans thing. We'll see if that works out a little bit better. Starlink, yeah, I know, but man, it's expensive. It's like $100. Of course, I just got new internet back home. That's supposed to be really good, but if it doesn't end up working out, I might do the Starlink thing. But where I'm at, apparently Starlink is only it's not available. Let's just put it that way. Let's see. Yeah, you may beat the rap, but you're not going to beat the ride. Absolutely. Auditors got yes. I think I already answered that. Turbo Warp. Two auditors got arrested. One is in jail for $108,000. Now look, and I'm going to tell you, this is where I think I might lose some people, and I don't care. I really don't. I want First Amendment auditors to be successful. And what I'm about to tell you is how First Amendment auditors cannot be successful and how they can screw themselves because it was bully back audits was the one that I have an issue with. Okay. And my issue is he was recording at the post office, perfectly fine, right? But he's walking up to individual people. He's walking up to private citizens, recording them in their vehicles, recording their license plates. What's the point? What kind of government accountability is that? That all that is just being a dick. And it doesn't win people over to what you're trying to do. Now, if you're trying to piss people off, then Bullyback Audits succeeded. He went into the post office and some guy decided he didn't want to be recorded, so he left. And he probably said something about, and I couldn't really understand what he said in the video, but I think he said something along the lines of I don't want to be recorded or something like that. Well, guess what he did? Bullyback Audits started following him outside the building with his camera. And the guy even said he's got kids in his truck and he's going back to his truck. Bullyback Audits followed him to his truck and was recording his license plate, recording him in his truck. I don't know if I couldn't really see any kids or anybody else. I couldn't even see him in the truck when he got in. So it's not like that's a big deal, but you don't have to be a dick. Okay. If people don't want to be recorded, we're talking about private citizens here. Do you have the right? Yes, you have the right. But who are you winning over when a private citizen in a peaceful and respectful manner? Now, there was one Karen in there that was a Karen and deserved to be kind of confronted. But for the most part, I'm sorry, but he completely screwed himself when he was doing this. And so then they go over to the police department. So Bullyback Audits and Foulmouth Veteran go over to the police department, and Foulmouth Veteran wants to talk to the chief about something. So they go into the front area there. The police chief ends up coming out, and Foulmouth Veteran is trying to have a conversation with the chief. And to his credit, the chief is trying to have a conversation with Foulmouth Veteran. Well, Bullyback Audits just keeps screaming something about, he's being loud and obnoxious. He's being profane. Is that his right? Absolutely. But guess what it ended up being? It ended up being to the point where he was causing interruption because he was being loud and distracting in a public place, and he was told to leave the building. But the fact of the matter is that Foulmouth Veteran didn't get to have his conversation with the chief, because as he was trying to engage in a normal conversation, Bullyback was just talking over him, and to the point where the chief is like, I've had enough, and he just leaves. He walks off. And he's even trying to tell, look, let me talk to him. We can address your issue later. This is in the video. So I'm not going off of what any one person said. I'm going off of what I saw in the video. That's unproductive. Again, is it your right? Absolutely, it's your right. But you've got to look at the optics in everything that you do. The reason that Open Carry Texas has been successful is because we learned what optics means. Okay, we learned the value of optics. We understand that if we're gonna go, if one of our guys gets arrested and we have to go before a jury, we are going to be what I like to call the sympathetic juror, or the sympathetic defendant. Everything you do has to look like you are the victim. If you look at what happened in Olmos Park, I didn't get pissy. Jim didn't get pissy. We weren't screaming and yelling. We were calmly asserting our rights. No, I'm not going to get on the ground. You're committing a felony right now by pointing your guns at me. Everything we did made sure, and everything we did was legal. We made sure everything we did was legal, and made sure that, okay, if something happens today, all of this video that I'm taking from all of these people, including those body cams, I'm going to look like the victim. And as long as I look like the victim, I'm good. But when it looks like the police are the victim because they're the ones being berated and they're the ones that are being harassed and they're the ones that are being yelled at, again, I'm not saying that that's not your right to yell at police and do that. What I'm telling you is, if you go to court, don't expect to win. And I would prefer that you win. That's why I'm kind of giving you this advice. You've got to look ahead. You've always got to think 2 steps ahead of law enforcement. You've got to know what the law is and be able to articulate it. Okay, not just some random, oh, my Constitution. Okay, you've got to be able to articulate the law, because there's three types of law. There's statutory law, constitutional law, and the Constitution. And sometimes those don't all mean the same thing. Even constitutional law doesn't necessarily comport with the Constitution, because the way that the Constitution has been interpreted has been bastardized over time. But you've got to be able to articulate those things. And if you can't articulate those things, you have no business being out there doing activism stuff. You have to be able to spout section and number of a law. Okay, when they say interference, you have to be able to explain exactly, well, no, this isn't interference because words alone do not constitute interference, officer. You've got to be able to spout those kinds of things. All right. Let's see. I know I'm going off on a hard. And look, this is just the gospel according to CJ. All right. You can take my advice or not. I just want you to be successful. News Now OKC. You don't get arrested for filming or recording. Yeah, you get arrested for getting yourself involved in recording or filming. Okay. You get arrested when you start interfering with that kind of stuff. Let's see. Say how it is. I hope I did that. Leave the normies alone. Hold the government accountable. Absolutely, absolutely. That's it right there. Whether, look, even the Karens out there, when the Karens are coming up and harassing us, about, oh, I don't understand why you got to carry your guns and all that. If all we did was F you, go F yourself. These are my rights and I'll exercise the Second Amendment. I don't give a crap what you think. Even when it comes to them, you should, again, play the victim as if you're being attacked by the Karen or the normie that's up there. But when you're walking around with a camera on a stick and you're following people into their personal vehicles and you're filming their inspection stickers and their license plates, that doesn't help anybody. It really doesn't help anybody when it's a private citizen. When someone cries about being on camera, I think it's effective to point out all the other cameras also on them at that moment. Very good point. Very good point. Yes, don't be don't be an NNP. All right. Asking questions rather than making declaratory statements is a great tactic. Absolutely. I agree with that. RIS Illusion. Always act as if the jury will see your videos. News Now OKC. That's what I've been trying to say. And I will agree that NNP has improved a lot in the last year. Yes, he has. Consider Starlink for your internet. Okay. Yes. A hot mess says case law helps to set the stage for stripping qualified immunity from a cop. If you can explain to a cop that wants to search you what the laws are about stopping and searching, what Terry v. Ohio actually says, because just because a police officer comes up to you and starts talking to you, they can't do a Terry search just because they're talking to you. They can't even do a Terry search just because they suspect you of a crime. The only time they can do a Terry search on you, and that's for weapons, is if they believe you are armed and dangerous. Those two have to be present. They can't just do it as a matter of routine. Let's see, what's this? Do you think we'll get constitutional carry passed? I really do. I think, well, I don't know. It's about a 65% chance at this point. I'm somewhat optimistic, but not too optimistic about constitutional carry. See, I've adopted policies from you. You're the Rush Limbaugh of Texas. No, I've got a pretty big head, but really all I'm trying to do is, because I've had so many encounters with law enforcement that are both positive and negative, I just want to share the things that have worked and haven't worked, especially when it comes to getting charges dismissed. It is so easy to get charges dismissed if you are a genuinely nice person, even though you're not doing something the police like. You can be aggressive, but if you're being mean or whatever, it's going to be much harder to get those charges dismissed. Proud of Your Freedom says his head's big enough. Please don't make it bigger. Yeah, please don't. My wife would beg you not to do that as well. Had a Karen walk up to me in LaPorte, Texas. When I started my bike open carry, I just engaged her politely, didn't threaten, just agreed to disagree. Yep. She still called the police. Not surprised. If you're armed, you're automatically dangerous to a cop. That might be true, but that's not the reality, though. I know the police think that just because you're armed, you're dangerous, but they have to be able to articulate some reason why they think you're dangerous. And guess what? One of those reasons why they can articulate it, because you're being a dick. If you're screaming profanity at them and you're yelling about your rights and all that kind of stuff, and they believe that you're armed, now they have a reason, because now they believe you're armed, and based off of how you're responding to the officers, they have very good reason to believe that you're dangerous too. I am never going to run for governor. Nope. What do you think about Jack at the steakhouse the other day? I have no idea. I have not seen that. I don't watch a lot. The only reason I even know about this that I'm talking about is because people have texted me and emailed me, and I just couldn't ignore it. Just because charges are dismissed does not mean it was unlawful or illegal arrest. Exactly. James White is awesome. Yes, he is. I still remember when you and your son. Yeah, it was. Well, Chuck, it's true that they do what they want. But again, you have to, if you assert your rights and you put the officer on notice, this is why it's important that you know the law and you know the case law. If you can put an officer on notice that his actions are both unlawful and unconstitutional, not just saying, oh, you're violating my rights, but you can actually say, according to Delaware v. Bruce or Brown v. US, or Brown v. Texas, or Black v. US, I always get the colors mixed up, blah, 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 then, oh, crap. Then that officer, he might do whatever he wants. Ah, son of a gun. Hang on a second. I dropped my cord and my computer's about to die. Because I was charging my other computer. Okay. All right. I'm almost done. Bear with me. My unprofessional nature here. All right. What was I saying? Hey, thank you, Doc. Appreciate it, brother. What was I saying? Oh yeah, they might think they can do whatever they want, but if you put them on notice, right, and you know the case law and you know the law, and not just the law, but you can articulate what the elements of that law are, they lose their qualified immunity because you've put them on notice and yet they've still violated your rights. So yes, they can do whatever they want, but you'll have a much better case in the end if you put the officer on notice in the correct way and destroy their qualified immunity. Hey, Doc, thank you, man. Are you still heading up OCT, or is David taking over? David's taking over while I'm gone, while I'm in law school. And I've asked them to leave me alone, and I've given them full trust and confidence to run OCT. They still ask me questions about stuff, but it's completely up to them. I've disassociated myself with OCT operations completely until I get out of law school. How long before you become a lawyer? Summer of next year. Next summer, I should be a lawyer, provided I pass the bar the first time. True. If you have 20K to take the case to the Supreme Court every time, I agree. Okay, I think I got everything. I just wanted to talk about that. Actually, Ransom Pendragon, they in Killeen right now, there's an officer that was arrested for, now it's rare, but was arrested for violating rights. All right, I'm gonna leave it at that, guys. That's the story as far as I know it right now. And what I'm going to try and do is, at the very least, based off of the videos that I've watched, because I haven't seen the arrest affidavits yet, so I'm not sure exactly what specifically each individual did to justify the charges, but I have a feeling that I can get that I'm going to be able to get foul mouth veteran off. I'm not even going to try to get uh, bully back. It's just he made it too hard for me to get involved, and I can't. I just I can't. Um, I have a feeling at least some of his charges are going to stick, but they really hammered him. I mean, $108,000 bond. Whew. And again, that if you're going to piss off the police, you better do it in a way that you're gonna it's going to look bad on them, not you. And unfortunately, a lot of people are going to go kind of like me. Well, you had it coming. And I don't believe in that. I don't believe that just because you piss off the police, if you're not doing anything wrong, illegal, then don't do anything illegal. But based on the videos I saw, I mean, some of the stuff they were doing, he was not backing off. He was in the roadway. He was shining his lights in their eyes. But more importantly, he was being a dick to private citizens instead of the government. And it's like what's going on in Minneapolis right now. I'm okay with rioting and looting as long as it's against the people responsible, which is the police. But when you start going after private citizens and you start going after private businesses, nope, you lost me. You lost me. Yeah, he went hella big. All right, y'all. As soon as I find out more information, I will let y'all know. But I definitely wanted to, because I heard about this letter going around and that the city of Belton had threatened these guys that if they continue to film the police, they were going to be arrested under 3815. And that is not what this letter says. As a matter of fact, this letter specifically says you have the right to film us. You absolutely have the right, but you can't be going in our scene and distracting the drivers while we're trying to interact with them. You just can't do that. And shining lights in our face. And again, if they're shining lights in your face, by all means, shine the light back until they stop. But when they're just doing their job, and from what I saw, these guys weren't shining lights in their faces, and yet he was shining his light in the face of the officers, and that's a no-go. So, all right, y'all take it easy. All right, the two channels are Bully Back Audits, I think is what he calls it. And the other one is Foul Mouth Veteran, I think, and it's all one word, I believe, on YouTube. Bully Back Audit and Foul Mouth Veteran. I just think there's, and this is just my personal opinion, okay? Y'all it's perfectly legal to be a prick. It's perfectly legal to be annoying. I'm just telling you that it doesn't win. It doesn't win sympathy from a jury, and it doesn't win support from average normal people. All right, I'm gonna let it go with that. Y'all take care, be safe, be free, and appreciate y'all sticking around for this. And let me know in the comments what you think. I mean, am I off base? Am I wrong here? Go watch their videos, and here, and I'll tell you here. Look, let me be specific. These are the videos in question. I will tell you the videos in question. All right, on Bullyback Media, his live one that just happened yesterday. Okay. Take Your Kids to Work Day is the other video, and Cops Search and Seizure. Now, the Cops Search and Seizure is another one where he came very close, if not going over the line there. All right, those are the Bullyback audit videos that you need to watch. His recent live one, which I think is just, it might even just be titled FMV if I'm not mistaken. I might be thinking of his video. So it's that one, his live one that you'll see like just 2 days ago. It's the 2 days ago video, or 18 hours ago, whatever. Take Your Kids to Work Day and Cops Search and Seizure. Those are the videos that I think are probably because those are the Belton videos. And then for Foul Mouth Veteran, it's Little Miss Attitude, Belton Traffic Stop, and Vehicle Towed. Those are the Belton videos from Foul Mouth Veteran. Little Miss Attitude, Belton Traffic Stop, and Vehicle Towed. Those are the videos there. Yes, this is how my videos end up being 2 hours long. I know. All right, y'all. I'm really leaving now. Brandt's fixing to be sentenced. Really? They finally convict him of something? All right, guys. Take care. Bye. I'm out of here. Appreciate it. Oh wait, hang on. Here, I'm gonna give you. All right, I'm gonna put some of these videos in here. Well, look, no, I ain't got time for that. I'm not gonna do y'all. I gotta get to my schoolwork. Just just go to Bully Back Audits and Foul Mouth Veterans video channels. Um, and then look at their recent videos that where they're in Belton. Those are the ones. The live video doesn't really show you anything, but if you look at Bullyback Audit's live video, his last video, the one that was most recently uploaded, you'll see why I find it hard to support him. You'll see why I'm not surprised that he got arrested. Unfortunately, I think the actions of Bullyback Audits, um, unfortunately, drug Foulmouth Veteran in and got him arrested as well. And so, I don't know. You guys be the judge of that. All right, take care.